Hola, I'm Claudia from SincerelySpain.com, a blog that is all about your study abroad or live abroad experience in Spain, from preparing to adapting to thriving in this new environment. Today I want to talk about learning Spanish. So obviously you are probably taking some courses in Spanish, whether it's at a private language school or at your university. But there are so many other ways that you can learn Spanish, and I might even say better ways, because integrating yourself into a culture makes learning the language that much easier and that much more intuitive. So I have a couple of tips for you today. My number one tip would be to live with native speakers. So if you're already living with a host family, check out our tips for making the most of your host family experience. And do take advantage of the fact that your host family are basically free teachers for everything that has to do with the family environment. If you're not living with a host family, search out Spanish roommates. It's kind of my prerogative to say avoid living with people that speak the same language with you at all costs. I mean, obviously you can set up an agreement where you speak Spanish at home, but if you are forced to speak Spanish at home, not that you choose to speak Spanish, you will learn a lot faster. In the same sort of train of thought, I would recommend taking on some activities where Spanish people are going to be involved just naturally. For example, I have taken yoga classes at a local community center, and I was the only non-Spanish speaker in the class. The class was completely given in Spanish, and because yoga is something that you can learn beforehand and then you just sort of watch the teacher, it's something where you can pick up all that sort of language and the community at the same time. I also play on a football team, soccer, here in Spain, and this is a great way, again, to learn the terminology that people use for soccer, but also to meet people and to interact in those conversations. In addition, I would say look into the courses offered by your university. Maybe there's some cultural courses. For example, in Granada, flamenco is a really big thing, to take some sort of community or university-sponsored flamenco course or art course or other sort of course like this, where you can spend time with a teacher who's not necessarily a Spanish teacher, but is a native Spanish speaker who will then help integrate you further into the language. Finally, I would recommend doing things like Duolingo, which is an app you can download onto your phone to practice Spanish every day by playing games or reading books in Spanish. We have an article about our favorite books at the moment to read in Spanish, or watch TV or movies in Spanish. So the more you integrate yourself into Spanish life, into Spanish culture, and the more you immerse yourself in the Spanish language on a regular basis, the easier it's going to be for you to communicate and feel comfortable in this language. We have a bunch of blog posts about this over at SincerelySpain.com. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Otherwise, we look forward to hearing from you soon. Hasta luego.